Good morning, everyone, or at least that's actually about to become afternoon soon. So, obviously, big news dropped this morning. Pretty much as soon as I woke up, the internet was ablaze with the reveal of, well, what would you expect more than King-Ohger has finally gotten its revealed suit. And originally I did shoot a video this morning discussing it, but it went a little bit too rambly and it ended up failing export twice, so I'm doing it again. But this time, I'm just going to give some general thoughts in regards to the suits, the mecha, some of the rumors that play into this, and, expectations. So, the first thing is the suits in general. I was expecting Justierizer. Well, we got more streamlined than that. This is very sleek, very stylish, but what is it with this guy's mouth? It just completely throws it off, being that everyone else has some sort of consistency when it comes to their mouth plates. I say that, but then, Yellow's got a black mouthpiece, Red's got what appears to be a silver mouthpiece held under the visor, and then he's got this thorax. Now, honestly, if this was done silver in color to match with the rest of this would probably look better in my opinion. But overall, they're not bad designs. Now, I will say that Red's visor, initially, I liked it when it's super zoomed out. But the more you look into it, the more you can see that you can see a helmet underneath it. Meaning that this might end up being detachable, or, for the sake of consistency, you can actually end up seeing what is the helmet's design under it. In which case, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of having this much visibility if that actually does end up being the case. From the suit design in general, purple and blue are definitely my favorites so far in terms of how sleek they look. And they seem very, very symmetrical to each other. One being a butterfly with purple here, and then the other one being a dragonfly. So they're very symmetrical in terms of that aspect. But one of the things that I see is the swords are all very uniform. They all share their 5 gimmicks that they've got here as well. So there's that aspect. The entire thing is, I feel that we're starting to venture into the territory of there being too much swords, if that does end up being part of their transformation or not. Due to that, I know that the current rumors state that it's a coin that ends up going into their insects, and then the insects go into their henshin device. So there's that perspective there. Though when it comes to Sentai, we had the era of bracers, then we had the era of cell phones. We are currently winding down on the era of guns, I think, and we're moving more towards swords. I know that Ryusoja didn't use their swords for transforming, but they were definitely prevalent in terms of being everybody's weapon. And you can kind of backpedal and say it's the same thing when it comes to Shinkenger, but they ended up getting personalized weapons outside of that as well. So it wasn't just limited to their swords. Then if you start going into the Kamen Rider side of things, then we had this with Saber a few years back. So there are those components as well. The thing is, looking at their belts, originally I thought that this might just serve as the holders for their coins. But now that I look at them more, they look a little bit like cell phones. I don't know, I could just be completely wrong in that aspect, but these look a lot like they could be cell phones. And maybe it's because of this portion right here just seeming like a camera to me. So they could use that to either summon their mechs or communicate with each other or things like that. Because, of course, who doesn't like them a good cell phone gimmick still? At least if it's not their transformation device. I don't know. I don't know. The other thing that we have here is the Mecha that is very, very busy in my opinion. Just because we've got a lot going on here. This is clearly a combination mech, but the rumors state that there's going to be 10 mechs in total out the gate. And I don't know if you see it, but I see a head up here, a head here, and then another head here. That's too many heads. That's 3 heads already there. There could be more heads that I just don't see, but it's odd. It's odd. The entire aspect is whether or not we're going to have heavy reliance on CG this season, or if it's going to be very suitmation. But if there is an overabundance of mecha, I think that we might end up going a little bit more traditional, or at least the mainstay when it comes to mecha fights, because Down Bros has definitely been playing lax when it comes to the mechs. When you get it, it lasts like a minute. You either get some really good suitmation, or in the case of Black Oni Taijin, you get some really lackluster CG. But sometimes when you get the mech fights, the choreography just hits right. But here, it's kind of like a return to form is the vibes that I'm getting, just overly complicated in the design aspect. So that's what we got going on here. But overall, I've got a good vibe when it comes to the suits in general. My only concern is whether or not this is a show that's going to end up taking itself too seriously. Because I can tell you right now, one of my biggest things when it comes to superhero time is the change in dynamic between your serious show, that could be either the Kamen Rider or the Sentai, and then your more cheesy show, which could be the other. When we get too much of the same thing, it kind of wears its welcome on me. I don't know if that's the same thing for anybody else, but that could be the situation here. So another aspect about these current rumors that I saw, and this could completely be false, I don't know, I haven't seen all the details yet, but Minato Takano was kind of name dropped as the writer for this season. And of course, they haven't had any real head writing roles themselves, and they've worked under Yuya Takahashi in projects regarding X-Aid as well as 01. So a lot of his writing style kind of remains to be seen in terms of that aspect. Some of these I honestly have not seen myself, because a lot of these movies ended up coming out post-series, and honestly, when I watched a lot of these shows week to week, these movies would get subbed so long after that I honestly would not care. So I have not seen a lot of the Heisei Generation movies, especially the one that he produced, or at least wrote. So I'm kind of still iffy in terms of that, but it is having me think that this might end up going the more serious route. Whether or not this actually ends up playing into the whole sequel of the sequel of the sequel with how things have been playing up still remains to be seen. But I'm assuming the press conference, if it's anything like Down Bros, will happen in February. So of course, more coverage is yet to come. And if there's any more details that drop between now and February, I will try and cover it. And before anyone asks about Down Bros review for this week, I'm shooting that tomorrow, because I had to spend money on an outfit. But yeah, what did you all think about these suits for KingOhger? Are they overtly designed? Are they just right? And do you think this show will continue down the path of being a sequel show, or will it be standalone? Do you feel this show will end up being serious, or will it have its cheese components to it as well? Anyway, that's it for me. I will catch you all next time. Until then, bye.